Tune in to the Diva Hustle Show.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Diva Hustle Show. Today, our guest is Kristine Stevenson. She's a tax resolution specialist, a finance coach, a radio show host, and an author. Thank you, Kristine, for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
So let's talk about your journey from the time that you spent as a tax examiner with the IRS to becoming a personal financial coach and an author.
Yes, such a great place, always starting with the IRS. That was back in 2007.
Okay.
Got a job working at the IRS because I knew some stuff about tax.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out that you don't have to know anything about tax to work at the IRS. So there's a little interesting side note there.
Okay.
So I was at the IRS for about 7 years. I talked to so many people on the phone because they would call in and answer the letters that I'm sending out to them.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them were small business owners and many of them were not. But I started seeing this theme over and over with small business owners that they owe tax because they're underreporting their self-employment income, or they're not sending the IRS money for their taxes. So I'm seeing all these trends, and I just kind of tuck this information away. And eventually I leave the IRS and I kind of transitioned into being stay-at-home mom. And then a few years ago, when I was 50, I had this huge pivot in life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I became personally debt-free. I thought, you know what? Maybe I should coach people with their money. I did it. If I can do it, they can do it. So I got into coaching, which led into, you know what? I've got all this tax experience. I got the IRS, and I've worked for tax companies like TurboTax and Tax Hawk and H&R Block. You know, maybe I had to pursue my enrolled agent credential. I didn't have it while I was at the IRS. So I got it after I was at the IRS. And then I started coaching individuals and some businesses on their money stuff. And again, I noticed this trend, like, hey, these people aren't doing the basic stuff
with
their money for taxes. Like, why not write a book? So, you know, a book came out last year in last year. We're still in 23, April 2022. I get my book out and I start talking about my book and getting out and telling people about it. And, you know, people are buying it and leaving reviews, and it got me a radio show. So now I have this radio show once a month. It was once a week, but we transitioned. I learned a lot about radio. So now I'm doing this radio show and like getting to get on podcasts like yours. And it's like, wow. And this is all after like age 50. So it's amazing.
I know it seemed like as you get old, that's when you really start getting the gist of your journey, right?
I've hit my stride like halfway through life. Who knew?
So in your book, right, it's called How to Avoid How to Avoid Problems with the IRS.
Yes, how to avoid trouble with the IRS. Yeah.
Can you share some key tips from the book that could help people that are self-employed?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for asking, because one of my favorite things to talk about, and it's so simple, is opening a business bank account. So many small self-employed individuals, you know, just single people, like, you know, making widgets out of the garage or authors, whatever the thing is, they end up getting all this business income and they're putting it in their personal tax account. I mean, their personal income, their checking account.
Right.
Which is a huge no-no. So if you'd open up a business account, so just the business stuff goes in the business account, the income and the expenses, that's a huge thing. So that's number one, open the business account. The second thing is, whenever you get your income is from your work, from your business, set a little bit aside in a savings account for taxes.
Okay.
All the money you need to pay the IRS and the state, if you have to pay state taxes, is literally passing through your fingertips.
Okay.
You have all the money you need. I was at a conference in New Orleans a couple months ago, the FinCon conference, and this is one of the things I spoke about, is all the money that you need is going through your fingertips. So grab onto some of it, set some of it aside.
Right.
For sure. So if people just did those two things, what a world of difference it would make for them. Seriously.
Of course. You know, I think that when people are starting businesses, they get so excited. I know for me, my first business, you get so excited. You just like, I made it through. You know, you got your incorporation papers. But I feel like the financial part of it is always missing for new entrepreneurs.
It is. And let me tell you a real quick story here. I spoke to a couple earlier this week because they've got IRS issues. He formed an LLC back in 2019. And when he formed this, he elected what's called the S Corp status to be taxed as an S Corp. Basically, that makes him an employee of his own company.
Okay.
And the idea is to save some taxes. Well, he had no idea what he was doing. He didn't have the knowledge. And so for 3, 4, 5 years now, he has filed it's Form 1120S, no tax returns for this business. He's taken no payroll for himself.
Wow.
You're supposed to take it. He's in a huge world of mess,
Mm-hmm.
and he owes $36,000. He's got payroll issues, and it's because, well, hey, someone said, well, I should form this LLC and do this S Corp thing, with good intentions.
Right.
We all know where good intentions lead us. So into trouble with the IRS. So yeah, just the lack of knowledge for people that are just starting their business. And I love self-employed people and their businesses.
Well, I told somebody, like, the country was built on small businesses, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So, the mom and pop stores, the small drug stores that's at the corner of the block.
Yes.
And you'll find, like you're saying, like, eventually, like, they don't know about the finance part. And, that's why sometimes the big companies could come in and swallow them up, because they don't know the financial game of the business part of it.
Yes. And I will tell you this, sole proprietors, this is just the sole proprietor, and the LLC, the single member LLC, those statistically, if you look at the IRS Big Book of Data, those are the two biggest or most businesses in the United States, these small mom and pops that you're talking about.
Yeah.
They're the backbone of this country.
They are.
Making it work, making it run.
And so your podcast is called Dollars and Cents.
Yes, that's my show. I don't have a podcast. I have a show, Dollars and Cents with Kristine, that is part of a bigger radio show. That's my segment, Dollars and Cents with Kristine. So
that's excellent. So
yeah,
how do you approach making complex financial topics accessible and engaging for your audience?
I love to break it down. I like to keep things simple.
Right.
Okay. And so we'll take something that's complicated. Now I have to have some knowledge and understanding of it, first of all. And if I don't, then okay, this isn't inside my wheelhouse. I'm going to let someone else talk about that. So, I'll take the subject, and if I understand it pretty well, and the theory behind it, and the tax code and all this and that, I will break it down into simple bite-sized steps. We can make it super complicated. We have a tendency as people to make stuff more complicated than we need to.
Yeah.
So I'll break it down into these little bite-sized pieces that people can wrap their heads around and make it relatable to them, to their situation, what they're doing. And so talking about, like, if someone comes to me, hey, I'm a plumber. This is my business. What do I do? Okay, well, plumbers need to have some inventory. So when they get the emergency call, hey, my water heater busted, well, how many water heaters do they need to have on hand in their inventory? Because water heaters aren't cheap. So we kind of weigh, like, well, maybe you need 1 or 2 because there's some money they have to invest in that. But to go buy 5 or 10, that might be too much. Then their money is tied up in these water heaters, and they might need their cash.
Right.
So yeah, so it's things like that. Or let me give you another quick example. I talked to a lady, they have a dry cleaning business, and she wants to do her own payroll. Well, how much time does it take to do your payroll every week? Well, about 5 or 6 hours. Okay, well, what would it cost you to farm out the payroll to one of those small business payroll companies like Gusto or Paychex or whatever, and give it to them and maybe pay 50, 60, 70 bucks a month and free up, 20 hours of your month instead of doing payroll? Now you have 20 hours to invoice people, write proposals, go make money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I break down some of those, I guess, more complicated topics. I think that's how I would say.
And so, what are some common challenges that you have observed in your business as a financial coach?
Oh my gosh, how much time do we have? The quick answer is, the common challenge is our behavior, and I include myself in this, our behavior with what we're doing with our money. Having a budget helps, absolutely. Right. That's the theory of how our money is going to work for us, but the actual behavior, using a credit card to finance your McDonald's, drive-through stuff, your meals. Okay. Why would you finance your hamburgers and French fries and soft drinks? Instead, you just pay cash or use your debit card, so we get used to it. So there's that challenge. There are people that have the blessing of great income, $15,000, $20,000 a month. Fantastic. Right. Or more, whatever, or less, but still. And one of their challenges is they have such good income. They don't run out of money, but they don't actually know how much money they're spending on eating out. We love to eat out in America.
Yes, you do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So they don't. And so when they start working with me, and these are the things I see, like, well, do you really need to drop $2,000 eating out every month?
Right.
And as a total of their budget, okay, it's not that much, but if their goal is to save money, the next house or their kids' college or whatever, well, can we do with less eating out? And so again, these people with large amounts of money, they're not struggling to like, gosh, are we gonna be able to pay the mortgage and the light bill, and get, plenty of groceries in the refrigerator? They don't have those struggles. They have, but they do have others. So those are huge things, but it's behavior with the money.
Yeah. Yeah. And then even now, like with social media, you have, and Instagram and internet, just all of the platforms where you have these videos where people are like, you want business credit? Go open 5 lines of, a business credit here, and then voila. But they're not saying like, okay, do you have the money to go get this car or do this credit card, or what's the interest rate on this?
Exactly. Exactly. So, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, be careful what you see and read online. What's the real story behind it? Investigate it. Here's what I like to tell people that are using credit cards, whether it's business or just in their personal life. So we're paying interest because so many people don't pay off their credit cards. Nobody gets a credit card thinking, oh yeah, I can't wait to go into debt and make monthly payments and pay 20% interest for the next 2 years. We don't think that way. We're like, oh yeah, I'm going to pay it off. Anyway, so when I reframe it like this, how many hours do you have to work, or have you already worked to pay off all the interest on the stuff you've purchased? It's like, oh, in it. And so people start calculating, well, I make, $20 an hour or 30. How many hours have I spent working just to pay the interest?
Yeah, when you put it like that, it really gets you thinking.
Yeah, it's like life's too short. And you work hard for your money, I'm assuming. I know I do.
Yes, yes.
And your listeners also, everyone's working hard for their money. And then it's like, oh yeah, I've got to work, a day and a half a month just to pay interest.
Yeah, just to pay interest. And with now inflation and inflation is just even worse.
The cost of everything.
Yes.
Going up for sure.
So what advice would you offer to individuals and small businesses that are looking to enhance their financial literacy and navigate the tax-related challenges that are out now?
So what I would tell them is what I do myself, practice what I preach. There are many systems that you can use to help grab a hold of your cash and understand your cash flow and where your money's going. But I really go back to, it's a takeoff on Mike Michalowicz's Profit First system. I mean, I don't know Mike personally. I've read his book. I'm not a Profit First coach or anything like that, but I have worked the system to work for my purposes. But here's what I would tell people is you need 5 business accounts, literally, and they're all going to be business accounts, preferably at one financial institution. You need one account for income. So that's just it. It's all it is, money going into the income account. Then you need 4 other accounts. And once or twice a month, you're going to take your income and you're going to put a percentage of your income into these other accounts. You're going to set a little bit aside for profit or purpose. That's what I like to say, profit or purpose, to do with whatever, a small percentage. You're going to set a percentage aside for yourself. You are in business to make money. I'll tell you this, most small business self-employed people, they either are not paying themselves at all, or not paying themselves enough.
Yeah.
And I have been in, yes. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. So pay yourself. So that's money for the other accounts, paying yourself. And then you take some money out of that income account and you put it in an account for your business, your business expenses, the stuff you have to buy to do, you know, a Zoom subscription, Calendly, Riverside. If you're making widgets, all the parts and pieces you need, that's your business account. And the last account you need is an account for savings.
Yeah.
Very specifically savings. I want people to adopt a mindset of I'm saving money for tax. It's a tax account. And if you do those 5 accounts, 1 for income, 4 for these other things, you'll get control of your money. You will be paying yourself. You'll force yourself to operate your business on less money.
Okay.
Streamlining how much money. It's so easy to just keep spending more money on your business. Spend more money on your business. Yeah.
It is.
And if you can slow that rate down a little bit, you'll become more efficient and you'll have better cash flow and you're paying yourself. Yay. You know, and then you're setting some money aside for the tax man, the state and the IRS.
Because people, I think, have this idea that when the money come in, they got to constantly keep reinvesting the money for their business to grow as a small business. And like you're saying, you have to credit, like you were saying, put up money, save money, like the plumber. Do you need 10 heaters? Or maybe you could just have the 2, but then you'll have the extra on hand in case something else comes up.
Yes. And something else is going to come up. You've lived long enough. I've lived long enough. Okay. We know that something's going to come up.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, having some money in reserve is important.
It is. It really is important. And so I know before we started talking, working on anything new for 2024.
Yes. So this idea has come to me. I don't know if it was a God thing or just whatever was going on, but I'm just thinking, man, I'm just so tired of the lack of basic tax education in this country at a lower level, like a younger level is what I should say. So I am thinking about creating a curriculum, some kind of basic tax curriculum to put into high schools, and I don't know, maybe even college, who knows? I know how to write a little bit. I'm okay as a writer. And I've got enough experience and understanding, and the stuff I see is like, there's got to be a solution somewhere. So why not create the solution myself?
Right.
No, wait for someone else. I can do this. So that's what I'm kind of looking to do maybe in 2024 is write a curriculum.
I love it because even with our kids, right, you see a lot of younger kids. I think if somebody was telling me like, there's so many kids that are 21 years old as are millionaires, right? And I'm like,
right.
Right. But then I worry about, okay, are they putting money aside? Are they investing? Are they smart about their finances instead of just, they want the glitz and the glam? But I think that the kids are really important.
Yes, and here's an interesting space that we've come into is the name, image, and likeness business in sports. There's college and it's coming into the high schools. All those kids, young adults with name, image, and likeness deals, they're all self-employed. And they're getting lots of money for the different deals, or not. I mean, they're not all getting a lot of money, but they're all self-employed too. And I see this a lot in this NIL space because I kind of keep my finger on the pulse of that world. But yeah, lots of money all of a sudden. What are they doing with it?
And so if we want to get in contact with you to book, like to see about your services you offer, what's the best way of getting in contact with you?
Yeah, best way. I have a landing page up, KristineStevensonEA.com. It's very simple. It's just got my book on there and I put a couple things. There's a big green button that says 30-minute tax strategy. You click on that green button and it'll take you to my calendar. You drop in on my calendar and it doesn't have to be about tax. That's its main focus, but we can talk about money in general. But that's the easiest thing. I've hired someone to redo my whole website, so it's not ready yet. But so I just have the landing page, KristineStevensonEA.com. My number, you can call me or text me. It's out there for the world, 737-234-0196. That's a Google Voice number, and that's where you'll land.
So thanks, Kristine, for stopping past, talking to us about finance and small business. You're always more than welcome to come back, and when you're doing your new project next year, I love to talk about the finances for kids and adults, because even now, like you look at it, they only have tax. I think it's taxes for dummies, right? Like that's the only thing you really find out. So it's really, really a much need in this world today. So
it is, yeah, because we all got to file tax returns. So
Yes.
Learn young.
So thanks for stopping past. And again, appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time.
Tune in to the Diva Hawks Show. Motivate the glow. We give you more info. Sleep to my head to toe. I let the whole world know. I let the whole world know.